What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm underneath the hood of the Mustang. And well, as you guys seen by the title, we're finalizing the cooling setup. And if you haven't watched the last video, I highly recommend you go watch the last video because you're gonna watch me struggle. So anyway, in this video, we're gonna be finalizing the cooling setup along with the AC setup. So for those of you that are not aware, I haven't had AC the whole time I've had this car. And the main reason why is, well, I broke one of the AC lines and it just arrived yesterday. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. All right, so first things first, we're gonna go ahead and remove everything that has to do with the cooling system because I have to replace the fan. And as you can see, there's really no room to work. So I gotta remove all of this, remove this. I also got to remove these guys right here because that looks like it's leaking right there. I don't know if you can tell right there, but we're gonna double check because I do see quite a bit of staining, but I don't know. If I can get in there now, remove it, I'll do it. If not, yeah, it's just a big mess. She looks good though. We're sitting outside with no scoop or anything. All right, guys, so this is where we're currently at the moment. As you guys can see, a lot of this has been removed. The one thing that I did went ahead and remove is my line to my AC condenser over here, or radiator, or whatever it's called. And I wanted to show you guys something. Now, normally you're not supposed to do this without emptying out this system because there's so much pressure, it's loud and it can hurt your ears and the smell and all that stuff. You don't want to be breathing that in. Happened to me one time when I went to the junkyard and yeah, traumatized. But the main reason why I'm removing this is because I've never had AC in the Mustang, and let me show you why. You see that crack right there? This line is the one that's cracked. So technically I don't even need to remove the AC. It's just this line right here that needs to be replaced. So that saves me a lot of extra work. So all of this stuff that I'm doing right now, I didn't even need to do. I just needed to remove this line, but that's fine because I can put all this back. But I just wanted to show you guys, this is the reason why I don't have AC. The reason why this is cracked here is because when I put the motor back in, I didn't put it from the bottom like everyone else and how you're supposed to. I put it through the top and I pushed it in. Yes, I did that. It was amazing. And I bought a special mount for the motor that connects to the hoist, and yeah, it was perfect. Didn't need to wrap it around or anything. It was just perfect. But yeah, so I accidentally hit that and well, it cracked. So the good thing is that it's just a line, and I think these lines are like 40 bucks. So that's gonna be perfect. Another thing is we're gonna be sending out the supercharger to go get rebuilt because I don't know if you can tell, it's leaking some oil. So essentially, I'm gonna take advantage and just clean up and tidy up everything here. I might paint that the same color as the car just so it stands out, because although everything in here is murdered out and it's awesome, I would like that to pop because in California, I have a carb plate. This is a carb plate. This is a carb serial number. This is, for example, like if the cops pull me over, they can't tell me anything because this is legal in California, which is awesome. So as you guys can see, this is the new line that I got from LMR, and I highly recommend you guys go check them out. And if you see right here, it's not snapped, it's not broken like this one over here. So this is why I didn't have AC the entire time. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go ahead and remove the old line and then do a little quick comparison and then install it. This is the kit that I got. Now this one says fuel, right? But I've noticed that these kind of work for in here. If you can see, it kind of like fits the flow or whatever. And other style as well that I need to locate somewhere in the toolbox. But that other style, I don't have the correct size, which is this one right here. And when you don't have the correct size, it's kind of hard to like push the pressure out of the spring and like disconnect it. So I'm gonna do that now, but I also wanna go ahead and say this very, very clearly. If you are doing an AC job, please, please, please remove all of the AC refrigerant before you even consider working on this. Because if you do not do that, there's so much pressure that as soon as you disconnect anything, you're gonna hear the loudest pop and you're gonna just breathe in all that Freon that you do not wanna breathe in. Okay, so if you're gonna be doing an AC job, do me a favor, get it removed by a professional so that way you don't have to deal with that BS later, okay? Now that that's said, let me remove this line. Whew. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, that one beat my ass. That one beat my ass pretty good. So I was having an issue removing the bottom line, which is right there where you see that little green little adapter. I kept pushing and pushing it in and it just wouldn't do anything. And then I just said, you know what? I heard a click, but I don't know if that click meant that it was good to go or not. But I think that's what that click means. Like, hey, it's clicked. That means you can pull it off, but you kind of have to wiggle it off. You just got to be careful you don't ruin anything else. But I got it off, look. So this is essentially what the old line looks like. Now, I'm gonna have to remove this plug right here, this one. Other than that, I think I can just put this aside just in case if I ever need, like, I don't know, something from it, which I doubt, but I'm just gonna keep it to the side. I always keep everything to the side for like about a year, and then if I don't use it ever again, I just toss it, just because you never know. So now we can see the comparison between the lines. Everything is pretty much identical. Like I said, I have to just remove this sensor, put it over here, and then obviously I have to like roll this arm up because I rolled it up here just because the placement of it doesn't really go anywhere now because of the supercharger. So I just rolled it up to get it out of the way. For those of you that are curious, I think it's supposed to like go onto like one of those bolts or something, but because I have the supercharger set up, obviously modifications need to be done, and that was one of them. But other than that, let me do this little transfer really quick from here to there, and then we can start the process of putting it back in. All right, so the AC line is now installed. As you guys can see, it looks beautiful. Like I told you guys, I rolled that up just like the other one, so that way it's out of the way. It makes a little bit of contact here, but I don't think it'll make any crazy noise. I hope not. And yeah, everything is starting to look right. Now the hardest part is putting back the radiator and the fan. And keep in mind, originally the fan is the problem here. So I figured, you know what, the fan is out. Let me just inspect the AC stuff, and sure enough, I'm happy I did because I needed to replace that line anyway. The supercharger will be sent out soon. I just don't want to do it now because I need to get this car out of here. You know what I mean? And then properly send that out because I need to email them, give them the right information, make sure it gets sent there safe. And yeah, that one right there is going to be a little bit more of a problem when it comes to like logistics and shit, because I don't want to lose it. You know what I mean? I lose it, I'm screwed. And then I also want to get that painted the same color as the car, but that's still in the air. I'm not 100% sure yet. So as of right now, AC line is on. Let's put this radiator back in. As you guys can see as well, it's also wet. The reason why is because I went ahead and cleaned it off because I didn't want all of the horrible smell of the coolant. I know there's still going to be some in there, but I just want to go ahead and rinse it off and kind of wipe it down really quick. So that's what I'm gonna do right now, because as you can see, there's still some little marks. So we're gonna do that and then put it back in. All right, so the radiator is back in. It's not sitting 100% properly right now because I still need to put the radiator fan in, and that's probably the most difficult part right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the radiator fan in, but before we do that, we have to do some modifications to it. Now, when it comes to the radiator fan, you guys see this little device right here? This needs to be removed and relocated, and then this whole little housing for it needs to be chopped off. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now and then clean this up and then show you guys the final product. Because of the supercharger, this needs to be modified, and yeah, it'll make sense right now when I do it. So just let me go ahead and relocate this and I'll show you guys the final result. All right, so let me show you guys exactly what I did. I went ahead and cut this out, right? Perfectly square. That was the housing that I showed you guys that had the little sensor, right? Which I moved it over here. So now it's relocated here. This was the sensor that was sitting here. And the reason why we cut this is because that is the inlet tube for the supercharger. That's where it gets the air. It's kind of a dumb design in my personal opinion, but you have to just relocate it, extend it out, and that's pretty much it. So it comes with this bracket, put it on here, you screw it in here, and that's pretty much it. So now that this is finalized, I'm gonna go ahead and slide it in, adjust it, and then bolt everything down. All right, so now that the radiator is installed, I also went ahead and put the fan in, and then I also had to make a little modification right here so that the AC line can fit properly. I didn't have to do that on the last one, which leads me to believe that whenever they made this one, they made it too close and it should have been a little bit more back here. But either that, or with this new radiator setup, they made it thicker and brought this out more than it needed to be. So maybe it was like thinner here. I don't know, I don't quite remember, but I had to do that little modification there so that way this can sit properly. And it took me a little bit, but as you guys can see, it fits perfect. The new line is in there, nice and snug. So everything is good to go. So I'm gonna come back another day and I gotta remove this bar because one of the seals on this side is actually leaking, I believe. I think it's leaking, either that or it could be the old oil stain that went this way, but I won't know until I remove it. But I gotta remove it just so I can go ahead and put new seals. Since I'm already here, I might as well just get that done and out of the way. I know there's like a aftermarket setup you can do to get rid of this bar, but I don't think I want to commit to that. So I'm just gonna leave it as is. But overall, little by little, we're getting there. So now that all of this is installed, when I come back, I'm gonna go ahead and install the rest. And then maybe we can get a startup, start burping the system and everything else like that. But for right now, I gotta go somewhere and then I'll be right back. So the beauty of the internet is I could just do, you know, a little quick snap of the fingers and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so it is a new day for me. Same day for you. And I was looking in here right now and I thought it was all like old buildup in there, but I think that's old oil that would fly out of here and go down there. So I'm gonna clean that up because it doesn't give me the impression that it's antifreeze. So I'm just gonna clean up that little area over here as well and then see how that holds up, because I genuinely do not think it's leaking coolant. I honestly think it is old oil. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's old oil. All right, let me clean that up really fast, because if not, then obviously we're gonna have to remove that, replace the O-rings or the seals, and then go from there. All right, so this is the napkin that I'm using to clean it up. And yeah, it looks like just old dried up oil. It doesn't look like it would be antifreeze. So there's no need to replace that or pull that off and replace the seal. So we're just gonna keep cleaning and see how it goes. All right, so now we went ahead and cleaned that up. I did the best I could given the fact that I don't have a lot of space. So that looks a lot better in there. And this side was also cleaned up. That looks good. I was gonna spray some brake cleaner, but at the same time, I don't wanna do it because I don't wanna ruin it, some seals, just in case if it goes down in there and seeps in there. I know some people say it won't, but I don't know. I just don't wanna take that risk since it looks good. It just looks like it was just old oil residue that jumped from here to here when it was leaking. And then the supercharger is also leaking, so it could be that it's shooting that way. Don't know how, but there was a lot of oil on the bottom and on the top, and there's still a lot of oil somewhere in here, so it's coming from somewhere here. But other than that, she looks good. Now we're gonna start putting all the hoses back in. Then I'm gonna start cleaning up the engine bay, removing a lot of the dust, because obviously it's been sitting exposed, and well, you see, it's exposed. So it's just been sitting and it's really, really dusty and dirty. So let's put on these hoses and then we could potentially start the burping system. All right, so as you guys can see, things are put back together, which is nice. So it's starting to look like a car again. The only thing I do have to go do right now is I have to go get a lower radiator hose, because the other one, I ended up cutting it because I couldn't get it off for the life of me. So I'm gonna go get that right now and then we will be right back. And if I look hella burnt, it's because I am. I've just been sitting in the sun and right now the shade is just starting to hit. So I'm excited for that. So I'm gonna go get that hose, install everything, and then maybe potentially just start putting all the fluid in, and then maybe tomorrow I can burp the system and then go from there. Hopefully everything works how it's supposed to, because after that I gotta do an oil change and a tune-up. So I gotta get spark plugs and all that other stuff, so should be awesome. All right, so now that you guys see everything's all set up, right? Remember how I told you guys right now that I was gonna go get a hose? Well, this is it. The reason why I need it is because I ended up cutting it because I could not get it off for the life of me. And it turns out no one has this specific hose locally, so I have to order it online, probably like CJ Pony Parts or LMR or something like that, and then wait a couple days for it to arrive. So as of right now, everything is done that I want to do, except for this right here, which is something that I'm going to do on the side. But I ended up getting all of the fluid that I needed. It says that it's about 16 quarts, so 4 should be enough, and then half of that. So then I'll have like a little bit left over. So it should be enough, because keep in mind, the motor already still has like fluid inside of it, and so does the heater core. It's just all the ones that was like up here is what got dropped out, so it should be fine overall. But yeah, we're starting to look like something again. All right guys, so it's another day, same video though, but I wanted to show you guys, I finally was able to get my hands on an OEM lower radiator hose. Believe it or not, that little hose right there is really hard to come by because a lot of auto parts stores don't have it, and it's pretty tight, so you're gonna have to like really wiggle it on there if you end up doing this. But other than that, she fits really good. And obviously I could have got another hose and then made my own, but in reality, it's a small to a large. So I just wanted to get the OEM one because I had the other one before that I made shift, and like it was leaking a little bit. So I had to use like extra clamps to like really hold it tight, and it worked, but I just didn't want that anymore. I wanted a cleaner look, obviously. So yeah, there it is. All right, so now that everything is bolted down and installed, we're gonna go ahead and top off the coolant and then see if we can go ahead and burp the system right now. So right now I'm just topping off the fluids, and you can see all of the air that's in the system right now. And this is just me topping it off, which is absolutely insane. So we got to continue to top off here, and then we're going to top off right there as well. So let's just keep at it. All right, so now this one here is starting to move a little bit slower. The reason why is because I finally took the little lid off of that one, and when I took off the little like screw type lid, it burped. It literally just went like nasty because there was a lot of air in that system. So right now this one's going down slower, this one's starting to fill up. So we're gonna go ahead and top this one off as well. But we're gonna go slow on this one and pay attention to it because obviously it's gonna be more meticulous since it's a smaller radius, and I don't know how fast it's gonna take to get full. So let me finish doing this. All right, so now that everything is done, she did an overflow here. She overflowed a little bit right there, but then when I closed it, it started burping over here, and then it stopped the burping and it was just steady flow. I don't know about you guys, but mine turns on, at least the fan, at 194, 195 when it's just sitting at idle, and the fan was just pushing. It just didn't stop. So also too, it's a hot day, so maybe that's why. But she did good. She didn't overheat. She did a lot better than last time, especially if you watch those previous videos. But right now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna let it sit like this overnight, come back another day, cycle it through again, right? But this time without all of this. Right now I don't wanna touch this because it's really hot, so I'm just gonna let it cool down, let it sit overnight. Then the following day, remove all that coolant, and then put the cap on, and then just turn it on, let it sit here for a little bit, and then see how it acts. And if it does well, I'll take it around the block. And if it does well there, then we're gonna go ahead and put AC and finally get this car washed, because man, it is dirty. All right, so it is now the next day, and I'm gonna go ahead and take it out for a spin. And if it does well, then I'm gonna take it to go put some AC. And then from there, we're gonna find out if the new line holds up or if there's another leak somewhere else. All right, so turns out we have another leak. So this time the line isn't leaking itself, but the compressor is leaking. I don't know if it has a crack somewhere, or I don't know if it's maybe the other tube that's connected to it that's not snug tight and that's leaking. But overall, we have another leak down there. So we just went ahead and spent 150 bucks for nothing. Well, not for nothing. I mean, we spent 150 bucks to find out if it's still good or not, but yeah, all that hard work for that, gone. But on the bright side, she isn't overheating, which is a bonus because now we can drive it and enjoy it. So right now what we're gonna be doing is the following. So while I was out and about, I went ahead and got the little hose adapter that I needed, and we're gonna go ahead and connect these two like so. But before we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and push this down to where it was right now. And then we're gonna figure out how we're gonna cut it, this one, and then like the length and everything, so that way it's out of the way and it looks good. And remember, that is for the catch can that is down here. All right, so now that line is pushed down and well connected and zip tied, and this is essentially how much we cut off, right? So now the line goes down straight through all of this stuff here, and then it connects on the bottom. I know a lot of people would have been like, oh, it would have been easier to just connect it right there. The reason why I don't is because this is for oil, and you don't want anything to fall on the headers. So you want to just push it down as far as you can and connect it down there, where if it does leak, you can see it and where it's coming from, then right there where it could potentially land on the headers. And obviously headers, heat and oil, well, it's just a recipe for disaster, and you can catch on fire. So we don't want to do that. And overall, everything looks good. Now I just got to really clean this up because it is super, super dusty. And then I got to do an oil change, spark plugs, and then I got to figure out what these are called because these are leaking through. So I got to replace those guys now and figure out exactly what they're called, replace them. But obviously I'll save that for when I do the spark plugs. But other than that, we're back to normal. And I might add something else right now. I'm not 100% sure. I do have some downtime, so I think I'm gonna do it and then, well, go from there. All right, since I have some downtime, the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and paint this. So this little silver is not gonna fly with me. I want it black. And then this is a new boost gauge. This was given to me by my boy Aaron, you know what I'm saying, Aaron. He gave it to me a while ago, I think maybe last year, and I just haven't had the opportunity to install it. So right now I feel like it's the perfect time to have downtime. So I'm gonna go ahead and prep this, get it painted, and do all of that. And then when the time comes, I'll install it. But for now, I'm just gonna paint it, get it ready, let it sit in the sun, bake for a while, and then install it. All right, so just to give you guys an update on what I'm doing. One, the sun is going down, so I have to hurry up, but I'm doing an oil change right now. I already went ahead and removed the old oil filter. I had to go get me my little tool here, because if you're not aware, it's really, really tight in there. But oil's dropped, sitting, and you can see that little oil stain that I have over there on the floor. It's pretty wild how much oil is still coming out of there. But anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and set it all up, and then tomorrow I'll come back and complete the oil change, and then we should be good on that aspect, or on that part. And then I just got to do a basic spark plug change. So then basically I have to replace the spark plugs, and I think that should be good. All right, so I wanted to show you guys something really quick. So right now I have a screwdriver, and I'm putting in this screw to self-tap in these locations, because I only had one holding this down, and I didn't have another one over here or another one over here, so I just had one in the middle. And right now I am currently installing it. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but right here in this little hole. And as I'm putting the self-tap screw in, I realized I don't have a really long screwdriver. So what I ended up doing is, just in case you guys get into this predicament, I grabbed this one, right? See how it's flat? Put it in a socket, and it works. So this one is a 24mm socket, and it fits in here just fine. So you can use that as an extension in a sense, and just don't go too crazy tightening it, obviously, because you don't want to break this or whatever, but it's just good enough for a nice little turn, and it's tight. All right, and just like that, she is back together. I went ahead and did everything that I needed to do, and right now I have to hurry up because the car wash guy is coming, because I don't know if you guys can tell, she is filthy. So I got to put some tape right now in this little area, because that part is removed so the water doesn't go down and just sit right there. So I have to put tape real quick and then get it washed and then do some final touches, but she's all back together.